and thank you for joining this session on preparing for the Career Opportunities Fair. Are you ready? So, to begin with, let's talk about what a Career Opportunities Fair is. A career or a job fair is an excellent way to meet a large number of potential employers at one time. It's kind of like speed dating for your dream job. These fairs not only provide employment opportunities, but also provide a network for career exploration and professional development. This is an event that is somewhat like a trade show, a speed networking event, lots and lots of potential employers. We have over 150. This is a perfect opportunity to gather information about potential future opportunities. This is somewhere between a job fair and a networking event, and it's the best place that you can start planting those seeds for your future career. There are many benefits of attending the college career fair in person. You get to connect with employers who specialize in your industry. You get to speak with employers who have potential job openings. You'll receive valuable advice from career development professionals as well as recruiters, and you'll make important and lasting connections that will help you on your future career journey. So today I'll talk about how to prepare, what to do during the fair, and after the fair. Hey, that all rhymes. So how do you prepare? Well, first things first, we have to research. You want to prioritize the employers that you want to target. So check out the attendee list first. This can be found on our career services webpage that is accessed through Fanshawe Online. A little bit later, I'll show you how to get on there. You want to make a checklist of those employers that you're most interested in talking to and prepare for an informational interview. What is an informational interview? So the goal of an informational interview isn't to land a job. Instead, the purpose is to gather information about industries, jobs, or organizations you might like to see if they fit your interests and personality. You should also prepare some basic questions to the employer. For example, what's a typical day like in this job? What types of people excel within your team? What are 2 or 3 important characteristics you're looking for this position or in your company? You should also be ready to answer some basic questions. That might be something like, tell me about yourself, and we'll get into that later. Why would you want to work for such and such company? And be ready to provide examples of your skills and strengths. You should check out the social media feeds of all of the employers you're interested in meeting with. Get an idea for their mission, their vision, and values, and you can add those to your conversation at the fair. So what should you prepare? Of course, I'm going to go through how we're going to do all of these, but a quick checklist. You should have your resume ready to go, either a digital copy they can access through a QR code or a physical copy. A lot of employers do prefer online application, but it's better to have and not need than need and not have. You should update your LinkedIn profile. If you're using LinkedIn for networking, make sure that it is clean and shiny and new and ready to go if you're using that for networking purposes at the fair. If you have letters of reference or recommendations, those are great to have. It's also a great idea to check in with those references before you start handing them out. If you are in an industry that values having a portfolio, always good to get that updated, or at the very least have a copy ready for employers to peruse, or a little QR code they can access it online. Get your elevator pitch ready as well, and you should also prepare yourself, what you're looking like, what you're smelling like, all of those things. We're going to start with the resume. You should tailor your resume towards the companies you plan to target. Yes, that means all of them. I know it's tedious. I know it's a little bit of extra work that you might not really want to try to squeeze into your already busy schedule. But if you're in the gym with hundreds of other students and they're all looking for work, having a resume tailored for what that employer is looking for is going to get the attention of that employer. If you go in with 50 copies of the same resume and you just hit every employer you can with it, you're not making any lasting impressions. You're not going to get the call back. You're not making the kind of impression you want to on these employers. So what I strongly recommend is take a look at the ones that you're interested in applying for. At bare minimum, the industries that they are representing. Create a resume that is thinking of the skills you have that you can offer that specific employer. A tech industry company isn't going to be as interested in your experience as a dog walker as a veterinary industry, just for a random example. What you have on your resume presents who you are to that employer. If you have updated your resume and you want a pair of professional eyes on it before you print out a bunch of copies and start networking with it, come for our drop-in hours. That's Monday to Friday in Career Services, D1063, from 10 to 12, and then from 1 to 3 every day, there will be a career consultant available for a quick review of your resume. They can tell you if you're way out in space and need a little bit of help writing it in, or they might say, you know what, you're good to go. Make sure you do this before the career fair, because day of, we are all going to be super busy and everyone is going to be wanting their resume reviewed. So maybe a week before the career fair, come drop in, get it nice and shiny, ready to go. If you do need a little bit of extra help preparing these things, like your resume, cover letter, how to network, all this good stuff, I'm going to really strongly recommend that you check out the Career Services workshops. So here's how you access the Career Services workshops. That yellow on the screen is going to make sense in a second. So we're going to begin on Fanshawe Online. We're going to click on that button up there that you see that says College Services, and it's going to open the drop-down menu. You're going to click on Career Co-op CCR. Next step is going to open up a link to our job site. I'm going to ask you to log in, simple stuff. Right there on your left-hand side, you'll see on that menu, Career. There's all sorts of great stuff that I really recommend you check out. You got your job postings, your events, that's where you're going to find the employer list. You got your job search websites, career services, contacts, and the job search toolkit. Invaluable resources. But today we're focusing on one thing and one thing only, and that's going to be accessing the online workshops. So these are the workshops available to you. We've got workplace professionalism, job search for neurodivergent students. We've got all sorts of different stuff. Probably some ones you're going to want to check out for the career fair would be your resume. There's a networking workshop. There's a really great workshop called 10 Steps to My Next Job, and that comes with all sorts of goodies about how to prepare yourself. Really, really good stuff. Take an hour out of your day and review some of this stuff before you go networking. It's really going to give you the advantage over the people who aren't taking this time to prepare. Another thing you should prepare is something that my team likes to call the elevator pitch. You might have heard that before. It comes from the idea that you're in the elevator with the CEO of your dream company, and you've got that 60 seconds to really get across who you are and make a memorable first impression. So it's a 1-minute overview of who you are as a professional. It should summarize your education, work experience, your strengths. You don't want to really focus much on your personal life right now. On the screen are a couple examples. Of course, they're not a one-size-fits-all. Another way that I have helped students craft an elevator pitch is the Steve Dalton method. He's a career development practitioner that really invaluable resource. But Steve Dalton's guide for that elevator pitch is to just say, here's what I used to do, here's what I am doing, here's what I hope to do. It's a really easy, personable way to get through to an employer. However, maybe you have tons of experience that's really related to a particular field and you're really ready to get in there and talk about it. That would be your more formal template there on the screen. And then next to that, there's a good way for you to kind of imagine how you might talk to an employer that way. Okay, so during the fair, we're going to make sure that we are dressed for success. Your overall presentation can say a lot about who you are and if you would be a good fit for an organization or an industry. You don't want to be dressed informally. You don't want to look like you forgot this was happening today. You might not even want to walk around with your coat and your backpack on. You want to present yourself as a professional version of yourself. You should keep yourself positive and confident. Fake it till you make it. 60% of your individual interactions involves nonverbal communication. So you got to have that firm handshake, eye contact, making it obvious that you're actually listening to the employer, and most importantly, keep a smile on your face. Make sure that you get business cards from the people you're networking with because follow-up is key. If you don't have any means of following up with a company, you might as well not have networked with them at all. Having that contact information, business card is going to be an amazing way because you can just keep them in your pocket the whole time. It's going to help you reconnect and keep that connection growing and going. Now, while we're talking about dressing for success, I did mention earlier preparing yourself physically for the career fair. We do have a resource called the Career Closet. Now, the Career Closet will not be at the job fair because we don't want employers to see students coming in unprepared and undressing and redressing and all that. So before the career fair, please come down to D1063. Let the person at the front desk know that you want to use the Career Closet. That's going to have all kinds of professional clothing from biz casual all the way to suits and ties. It's really important that you wear deodorant. Your natural smell is probably not the smell you want to be remembered for. In the same vein, you don't want to also be remembered for having so much cologne you gave somebody a headache. Remember, it's an enclosed space. The impression you want to make is on your credentials and your personality, not on what you're wearing or what you smell like. Prepare yourself to make the best first impression you can. When you do arrive at the career fair, if you don't have a game plan, it's going to be a very chaotic experience. Organizing yourself will help you enjoy your time there and present your best self. Know who the employers are. Know what you're talking to them about. Come in knowing, maybe I am looking for a co-op job. So what you're going to do is focus on getting that co-op opportunity. Maybe you're going and you're wanting to network for your postgraduate job search. Then go in with that mindset. Maybe you just want some information about what's available after your graduation. Go in with that mindset. But if you go in not knowing what you're there for, then you're not going to get very much out of it. Come in with your list of employers that you want to target. You don't only have to visit with them, obviously, but if you know that you're trying to find a particular company, then you know kind of where to start targeting your footsteps. Research the companies that you're going to talk to. Have something to tell them that you know about them. That's going to make a lasting impression, a very positive impression on a company that's going to be talking to tons of students who have no idea who they are. Draft your introduction, that elevator pitch. You don't have to have it memorized. It doesn't have to come out the same way every time, but know what you want to share about your past professional and educational experience. Have a few questions that you want to ask your employers. Maybe it's the same thing for every employer. Maybe it's some specifics for every employer you're targeting, but know that you've got something to say as well. Prepare your professional documents. Make sure that your resume is ready to go and is not crinkled. If you got a portfolio, have that QR code ready to go, or have your printed portfolio available and ready to be perused. Just make sure that you're not scrambling. Make sure that you don't present yourself as someone who didn't prepare. So, quick checklist. Do you have your resume? Do you know how you're going to talk to people with an elevator pitch? Do you have questions for these employers? Did you brush up on your networking skills? Did you brush up with some interview prep for some on-the-spot in-person interviews? Ask yourself this before heading down to that career fair. Okay, so that was the fair. Now what? You should send a thank you note within 24 hours after the career fair to the employers that you want to remain in connection with. This is going to make a lasting and very good impression on the representative for the companies that you want to remain in contact with. It shows appreciation for their time, their information, and the interest they showed in you. You should restate your interest in that thank you in the opportunity or just in the organization, and remind the employer about your key qualifications or assets that make you a good fit. If you do need help crafting that thank you email, don't hesitate to come down and ask your career consultant in D1063. We'd be more than happy to help you with that. All right, so you're sick, or there was a storm and you got snowed in, or maybe you just forgot that was happening. How can you make the best of career fair if you can't attend? Now, it is 100% better to attend in person if possible, but it's not always possible. So what do you do if you can't attend the career fair? First thing that you'll do, just like with the other portion of this workshop, review the list of companies that are coming. View that list of companies and identify the potential employers you're interested in learning more about. Take the time, once you've narrowed it down, look at the company websites and different job openings that they might have at the moment or have had in the past, and really ask yourself, do you align with the values? Are you a good fit? You should read up on their news and history, their culture, and start trying to set up that informational interview that you would have been able to have at the career fair. A simple email saying, we're going to email IBM and say I am studying information technology at Fanshawe College. I'm really interested in knowing more about the paths that I might take to be part of the IBM family, something like that, just to set up that time to talk with a representative. Make sure that you update that resume and cover letter before sending it in. Again, it's not the same one for everything. Your McDonald's resume is not the same as your IBM resume. If you found your dream job and you want to tailor your resume and your cover letter and maybe you need a little help, once again, come on down to D1063 and let us review it before you send it off. But it's really important that you take the time to target that resume to the employer you're sending it to. Now that you've identified roles that you want, you've got a tailored cover letter and resume to match, you can apply online for those roles. Make note of where you've applied and make sure to follow up a week or two if you haven't heard back by then. Take your time and do not rush the application. Be sure to fill out every question carefully, and if you don't get the application right, you could end up being deleted or filtered out without even being read. You can follow companies on their social media platforms or LinkedIn. I really strongly suggest following companies on social media simply because it's going to be a much faster way to connect with them. There's probably a social media representative who does the content for that company, and simply commenting or sharing on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, what have you, is going to put you in communication and continue your communication with a particular company. If you don't have a LinkedIn account, you're missing out on a lot of career networking opportunities. It's the business equivalent of Facebook. It's not perfect for every industry, but if your industry does utilize a lot of networking, it would be a really sadly missed opportunity to not be utilizing it. Again, I will direct you back to our workshop page that I mentioned earlier. There is an amazing LinkedIn workshop for you to check out. All right, so that is a very quick overview on how to prepare for the career fair. Now, maybe I didn't answer your question. Maybe you found a new question while listening to this. Don't ever hesitate to reach out to us at career@fanshawec.ca. Someone monitors that inbox and will happily find the right pair of eyes to read your inquiry and get the right answer to you. Now, as you're preparing for career fair, don't forget you can always pop on down for our drop-in hours, Monday to Friday, 10 to 12, and 1 to 3. You come on down and we can do a quick one-on-one resume review. Maybe you just have some quick questions. Maybe you want to use the career closet. Just come on down and let us give you a hand. That's what we're here for.